Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NBA prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my peerless prognostications for the 2014-15 NBA season for the Eastern Conference. Now, the first seed that I have the Chicago Bulls. Don't be flabbergasted or in a state of shock. I'm going with them. I like Derrick Rose. He missed 63 games last season, and if he is healthy for the majority of the season, the Bulls could go as far as he could possibly take them. Now, they went 48-34 last season. That was good for fourth in the Eastern Conference, and this was without Derrick Rose for 19 games, mind you. And they also added a dominant big man by the name of Pau Gasol, and I think he will pay huge dividends if he's healthy. Now, the Cavs seem like the enticing pick, but the Bulls have the chemistry and cohesion and their experience of playing together. Now, this team, the Bulls, can conceivably win 60 games with a healthy Rose. The team was second last year in defensive efficiency. They gave up about 98 points per 100 possessions, which was second in the league. They were also first in the NBA in fewest points allowed per game at 91.8. In this team, I see everybody stays healthy. This team will get the #1 spot in the Eastern Conference, I believe. Now, the next team. Okay, here we go. Cleveland Cavaliers. I know a lot of you think they're going to be the #1 team in the East. Basically, what I stated before, the experience thing, playing together. I think they're going to need one season until maybe they can get the #1 spot next season. Yes, LeBron James can come home again, and even though he was vilified and maligned before by the media, by Cleveland, it's funny how maybe 3 or 4 years time maybe doesn't eradicate wounds, but heals them to a certain degree. I mean, now it seems like he's embraced by the Cleveland fans there. Cleveland will obviously have better continuity on offense with LeBron James. They added Kevin Love, one of the better power forwards in the game, and really, if there's anybody that can single-handedly resurrect a franchise, it's LeBron James. The team ranked 22nd in points per game last season at 98.2 per game, and this should go up significantly with LeBron James and Kevin Love on the team. This team, LeBron James can revive a franchise, I believe, and he will. I feel strongly he will do it. I believe in his first season with Cleveland, the Cavaliers won 35 games in the 2003-04 campaign, and the year before that I think they won like 19. So he's going to have a good impact on this team, and I think they will get the #2 spot in the Eastern Conference. Now, the #3 spot, I'm going to go with the Toronto Raptors. They seem like they have exuberance, they have energy on that team. They did everything but defeat the Brooklyn Nets last season. They got the home field advantage, but I think what happened was Brooklyn just had a little bit more experience on their team. They had Kevin Garnett, they had Paul Pierce. They were able to close the game out in Game 7. Now, the Toronto Raptors played very good defense last season, and that's going to be key as far as this season goes. They're going to have another season of those players playing together for a good part of the season. I believe they had let Rudy Gay go in the early part of the season, and the team was floundering at around like 7 and 12. But what happened was, by releasing him, they allowed a lot of other players to blend in and play cohesively, and other players stepped up for this team, and they wound up finishing on the season 48-34. So they took off right. I don't think it was a coincidence that this team started playing better after the abysmal 7-12 start that they had. That means they finished like 41-22. So I think they'll keep it going this season, and this team can improve their win total as well. Now, the next team, #4 seed, I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards. Well, it seems like the coach and the team has worked some wizardry with this team, and this team really, I mean, I would say a phenomenal season, but for what their expectations were, it certainly was. John Hall is starting to come into his own, and he had either his best season or one of his best seasons in a Wizard uniform. And I think we'll see the continued evolution of him, and we'll see this with some other players. And the Wizards, in a weak Eastern Conference, I think can get the number 4 spot in 47 wins this season. And they had upset a team that had a better seed than them, the Chicago Bulls, last season. I believe Washington was number 4, Bulls were number 5. I mean, I'm sorry, Washington was 5, Bulls were 4, and they pushed Indiana to 6 games in the second round. So, I mean, maybe this time they can go a little further. Now, so I have them at number 4. Now, the next team, the Brooklyn Nets, I'm going to go with them for the number 5 spot in the Eastern Conference. They lost Paul Pierce last season, ironically, to the Wizards, and that will also help augment the Wizards, probably their team and their caliber this season, and their perhaps just their team in general. But now with the Brooklyn Nets at number 5, we have Paul Pierce gone, and Kevin Garnett. There's some speculation whether he's going to play. It seems like it's leaning toward he is going to play, but what can he do right now? Obviously his skills have deteriorated, but they do have, if Brook Lopez can be healthy for the majority of the season. He missed, I think, somewhere around 65 games last season due to injury, and you had and Darren Williams. If they could stay healthy, the Nets have a solid nucleus, and they could still be a strong playoff team, and I have them going at the number 5 spot. Now, the number 6 spot, I'm going to take the New York Knicks. Now, you're not hallucinating. I am going with the New York Knicks. A lot of people don't think the Knicks are going to make the postseason this season. Maybe it seems somewhat idealistic in some people's minds, but the New York Knicks, their secret, well, not so secret weapon, somewhat blatant weapon, is a guy by the name of Phil Jackson. And he is, I forget the title exactly, but the head of basketball operations or something like that. Obviously, even though he's not going to be coaching the team, he will implement this, the triangle offense. And if the players are adaptable to it, even somebody that seems somewhat incorrigible or egocentric, such as Carmelo Anthony, and if Amari Stoudemire feels as dominant as he says he is, or he's going to play as dominant as he claims he is, this team could still get in the postseason. This is a weak Eastern Conference, as I stated before. So I think that the Knicks are going to get the number 6 spot in the Eastern Conference, and I believe Carmelo Anthony will adapt to the system. The team will play cohesively. They'll get this triangle offense down, and they'll put up a few more wins than the majority of people think this season, I believe. Now, number 7, I'm going to go with the Miami Heat. Okay, I know Miami Heat, they lost LeBron James last season. Obviously, he was an integral part of the team's success. But the Heat still have Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. And with this team, even though they lost 27.1 points per game with LeBron James, they still have some talent on this team, a very solid nucleus. And I think people should look at this as more of a transition period, not a reclamation project for the team. Now, they also acquired small forward Luol Deng, and who has really a dominant player, a potential to be a dominant player. He could play very well. I'm not saying might not necessarily be great, but he will be good. The team was 30th in rebounding as far as rebounds per game last season, 36.9 per game. You may be able to get away with that with LeBron James on the team, but now without him, they're going to have to step up and be more aggressive and assertive in the rebounding. Now, last but not least, I'm going to take the Indiana Pacers as the number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they went 56-26 last season, and I understand that they did lose Lance Stevenson, I should say mercurial shooting guard, Lance Stevenson, which in certain ways might be advantageous to them because with all his technicals, he had like 14 last season. He might have been somewhat of a diversion and distraction to the team. Also, Paul George suffered a devastating injury, which will knock him out for the season. However, they still have center Roy Hibbert and point guard George Hill. Now, and they have 3 of the starting 5 from last season. So, being in a very, as I've stated, sounds redundant, I know, very weak Eastern Conference, the Indiana Pacers could still get that number 8 spot. I believe they will. They were one of the better teams in defense last season, giving up 92.3 points per game, and they will make the playoffs this season, really, but barely. I don't see them really being a strong team, obviously, because I have them at number 8, but they will be a team that might get 40 to 42 wins and just sneak into the Eastern Conference playoff pool. So anyway, let me show you my picks on my computer screen before I head out for the Eastern Conference, so hold on momentarily, people. Okay, we're going to go with number 1, Chicago Bulls, 59-23, Cavaliers 55-27, Raptors 52-30, Wizards 47-35, Brooklyn Nets 45-37, number 6, New York Knicks 44-38, number 7, Miami Heat 43-39, number 8, Indiana Pacers 40-42. As far as the playoff predictions go, I have Chicago beating Indiana first round, then Cleveland over number 3, Cleveland over number 7, Miami. Then I have number 3, Toronto over number 6, New York, number 4, Washington over number 5, Brooklyn, and I have second round, number 1, Chicago over number 4, Washington, number 2, Cleveland over number 3, Toronto, and then in the Eastern Conference Finals, I have number 1, Chicago over number 2, Cleveland. Well, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NBA prediction segment for the 2014-15 NBA Eastern Conference predictions, and stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about the Western Conference predictions for the NBA for 2014-15, and I'll give you my NBA champion as well. Until next time, people, stay well.